When things go south, the people around you matter just as much as your supplies. You can have the best stockpile, the best gear, and all the right skills, but if you're standing alone when disaster hits, you're at a massive disadvantage. In today's video, we're breaking down how to build a strong prepper community, whether that's your family, neighbors, or like-minded people online, so you're never facing the next crisis alone. We'll cover why a prepper community is essential, where to find people you can trust, and how to build those relationships before you need them. Let's get started. There's a reason why tight-knit communities have always had a better shot at surviving hardship. History proves it. Whether it was settlers on the frontier, families surviving the Great Depression, or communities pulling together after disasters, the people who made it through weren't the ones who isolated themselves, they were the ones that had a network. Having a prepper community gives you three major advantages: security, resources, and knowledge. Let's start with security. A group can defend itself far better than an individual. If things get bad, looters, thieves, and desperate people will look for easy targets. Being alone makes you vulnerable, but a group of prepared individuals working together can secure an area, set up patrols, and deter potential threats. Even in a less extreme situation, like a regional power outage or supply chain breakdown, there's safety in numbers. You can rely on each other, watch over your families, and maintain order in your local area. Next, let's talk about resources. No one person can stockpile everything. You might have food, but someone else has medical supplies. You might have tools, but someone else has the skills to use them better. A strong group doesn't just combine supplies, it creates efficiency. One person raising livestock, another growing vegetables, someone else handling security, another focusing on medical needs. When everyone contributes, the whole group thrives. And finally, skills. Maybe you're great with first aid, but someone else is a mechanic. One person can't master everything. A good community fills those gaps. In any crisis, specialized skills makes the difference between surviving and struggling. Imagine a grid-down scenario. You might need someone who can purify water, another who knows off-grid energy solutions, and someone else who can run communications. Having a variety of skills within a group means you aren't relying on just yourself to figure out everything under pressure. The bottom line is this: you don't want to realize you need a community when it's already too late. Now that we know why community is essential, let's talk about how you actually find the right people and bring them in. A strong prepper community doesn't just appear overnight. You have to find the right people and bring them in gradually. Let's talk about family and friends. Some might already be on board. For those who aren't, start small. Talk about rising food prices, power grid issues, or weather disasters. See who's receptive. The key is planting the idea without forcing it. Now, what about neighbors? You don't need to ask your neighbors outright if they prep. Instead, talk about storm readiness, power outages, or crime. Gauge their mindset. A lot of people are preppers without calling themselves preppers. If someone already stocks up on supplies before winter or takes home security seriously, they're halfway there. Another great option is local groups and clubs. Gun ranges, outdoor survival courses, homesteading events, ham radio clubs. These places naturally attract self-reliant people. If you're not sure where to start, try joining one of these and see who's already thinking ahead. And finally, online communities. Forums, Facebook groups, and prepping communities can be a powerful way to connect with like-minded individuals. Whether you're sharing knowledge, learning from experienced preppers, or even organizing local meetups, online spaces can serve as a bridge to real-world preparedness. Many strong prepper groups start out online before transitioning into in-person networks. Just be cautious about oversharing. Maintain your privacy and build trust gradually, just as you would in any other setting. You don't need to recruit a whole town overnight. The key is starting small, one conversation at a time. But just finding people isn't enough. You also need to make sure they're the right people. That's where trust comes in. The biggest mistake people make when trying to form a prepper network, they come on too strong. If you start a conversation with someone by talking about the collapse of society, martial law, or a full-blown grid-down scenario, most people will tune you out. Even those who are somewhat prepared might be put off. You have to ease into it. First, find common ground. The best way to start is by talking about skills and interests first. Gardening, camping, firearms training, these topics naturally lead into prepping conversations without feeling forced. See who's already thinking along these lines. If someone is into homesteading, they already value self-sufficiency. If they enjoy outdoor survival, they understand the importance of skills over just stockpiling gear. Let conversations naturally develop instead of forcing the topic. Next, lead by example. Sometimes the best way to build a community isn't by talking, it's by doing. If people see you maintaining a garden, practicing self-defense, or having supplies on hand for an emergency, they'll naturally become curious. Over time, they'll start to adopt these habits themselves, strengthening the group without you ever needing to pitch prepping as an idea. Then, observe before you trust. People say all the right things, but do they follow through? If someone talks about prepping but doesn't even have a basic pantry stocked, that's a red flag. If they claim to be in a firearms training but never practice, that's another. A strong prepper community is built on people who are reliable, proactive, and willing to contribute. If someone consistently follows through, whether it's attending meetups, sharing skills, or improving their own preparedness, that's a good sign. And finally, don't reveal too much too soon. If someone starts asking personal questions about your preps too early, be cautious. Questions like how much food you have, where you keep your supplies, or whether you own firearms are major warning signs. Prepping is about being prepared, not making yourself a target. Discuss general preparedness, but don't give someone a roadmap to everything you own. Building trust takes time. A prepper community isn't just about who has the most gear, it's about who you can actually count on when things get rough. The goal isn't just to surround yourself with like-minded people, it's to build a team of reliable individuals who bring value, skills, and trustworthiness to the table. Once you've found your people you can trust, the next step is keeping those relationships strong and active. Once you've found reliable people, keep that network strong with real action. A prepper community isn't just a group chat or an idea, it has to be something real and functional. That means putting in the effort to maintain those connections before a crisis happens. Regular meetups are key, even if it's just grabbing coffee or hitting the range. Regular interactions build trust. You don't need to turn every meeting into a full-blown training session, but staying in touch consistently keeps the group engaged. If people only see each other once a year, they're not going to work well together when things get serious. Small, casual get-togethers keep the network alive, and when the time comes, you'll already have the foundation of trust in place. A prepper community is only as strong as the skills within it. Host small workshops on first aid, comms, water filtration, or self-defense. Everyone should bring value to the group. Even a simple backyard fire starting session or a quick lesson on using a tourniquet makes a difference. If you don't actively practice and improve your skills, they fade. Running these sessions also helps you identify who's actually serious and who just likes to talk about prepping. If cell towers go down, how are you staying in touch? Have a plan, whether that's ham radios, emergency codes, or designated meetup spots. In a real emergency, normal methods of communication could fail fast. If your group doesn't already have a backup plan in place, you'll be scrambling to figure it out when it matters most. Work out basic protocols now so that when things go south, everyone knows where to go, how to check in, and what to do next. And finally, define roles. Every community works better when people have clear responsibilities. Someone should handle medical knowledge, someone else should specialize in food production, and another on security and defense. Even a small group benefits from knowing who does what. If you wait until an emergency to start coordinating, it's already too late. Your group should be solid before anything happens. The stronger your connections, the more resilient your community will be in any crisis. Regular training, open communication, and defined roles will make sure that when disaster strikes, everyone knows exactly what to do. A well-maintained prepper network doesn't just improve survival, it creates long-term security and peace of mind. Prepping alone only gets you so far. The stronger your network, the better your odds. Not just of survival, but of rebuilding something stable after disaster strikes. Think about it. If something went down tomorrow, who would you call? Who would have your back? If you don't have an answer, it's time to start building that community. Start small, find the right people, and make those connections now before you need them. What's your experience with prepping communities? Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Join the Texan Prepper community by hitting that subscribe button. Keep an eye out every week for another video on emergency preparedness. Stay safe, keep prepping, and I'll see you on the next one.